Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. A night to celebrate the female fanbase. The Steelers' female fanbase is stronger than ever, and that was on display Wednesday night at Acrisure Stadium when the team hosted the first-ever Steelers Social, presented by UPMC Magee Women's Hospital. The event is part of the team's Women of Steel platform, which was created to celebrate, connect, develop and empower the team's female fanbase. This sounded like such a fun time to be out with your girlfriends, thinking about the season, getting ready for the fall, said Kristen Hudak, from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. It's fun to be a part of something special. There is a lot of enthusiasm and excitement. I have been a fan as long as I can remember, as a little kid. You are born into it in this part of the country. It's always been part of my life. Almost 1,000 women of all ages, even the tiniest of fans, from the Pittsburgh area and all over the country took part in a night filled with fun and friendship. I was very excited when I saw this event come out, said Lisa Perry, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My son is a huge Steelers fan, and I am always excited about the games, but I don't know a lot about football. I wanted to come and get the experience to make sure this season I am ready to go. I am here to learn about football and be around women who are so passionate about the game. I want to get the energy of the other women and try to create some camaraderie with them. This is amazing. I walked in here with awe. It's very exciting. There are women here who are so passionate about the Steelers. I am just soaking it all in. And yes, there was plenty of black and gold attire everywhere you looked. The FedEx Great Hall served as the main point for activities, which included a black and gold bouquet bar, a paint and sip stadium, and tailgate-like attractions. Hall of Famer Troy Polamalu and his wife, Theodora, took part in a fun and lively Q&A, which brought smiles and laughs to the couple and the attendees as well. What is nice is it's the evolution of the game in the sense that they're not players anymore, they're human beings, said Polamalu about part of the female fanbase's connection of the game. You get to see their stories. The women are able to connect to the stories. What connects me with this is to see my wonderful wife and how she has been the backbone of my life, career and success. It's terrible sometimes because people say this is our life. In reality, this is 4% of our life and the other 96%, my wife is the star always doing everything. It's really cool I am able to celebrate my wife, show people the truth behind how things work in our family. The current players conducted offensive and defensive drills on field, coaching the ladies, encouraging them, and truly having a good time. Proposed trade would send Cowboys a chain mover, starting RB on bargain. The Dallas Cowboys' current running back group is not exactly striking fear in the hearts of the other NFC East teams. There is still time for the Cowboys to make a move, but the free agent options are limited. Bleacher Report's Gary Davenport revisited the idea of the Pittsburgh Steelers trading running back Najee Harris to the Cowboys. The analyst believes Dallas could be able to pry Harris away for a 2025 conditional draft pick. On one hand, running back Najee Harris has been a consistent performer for the Steelers, eclipsing 1,000 yards on the ground in all three of his professional seasons, Davenport wrote in a May 21, 2024 article titled, 8 Post-Draft NFL Trades That Make Too Much Sense to Actually Happen. On the other, he hasn't lived up to his status as a first-round pick, averaging a pedestrian 3.9 yards per carry for his career. The Steelers have another running back on the roster who has been consistently more explosive than Harris in third-year pro Jaylen Warren, who averaged north of 5 yards a carry last year. Veteran acquisition Cordarrelle Patterson could be used to spell Warren, Davenport added. Harris may not be a game-changer, but he's a durable chain mover. And given the Cowboys' win-now mentality, a conditional pick for Harris, that could escalate based on performance, is a reasonable cost, even if it's just a one-year rental. Harris posted 255 carries for 1,035 yards and 8 touchdowns in 17 games last season. the veteran added 29 catches for 170 receiving yards. This is solid production, and there is a reason to think the Steelers would be reluctant to move Harris for just a conditional pick. Dallas has already attempted to squelch the Harris trade rumors. On these Najee Harris and Cowboys reports, team source tells me clickbait, NFL Network's Jane Slater detailed in a May 6 message on X. Yet, Pittsburgh declined Harris's fifth-year option, so the Steelers could be inclined to move on from the playmaker. Harris is heading into the final season of a 4-year, $13 million contract. The veteran has a $4.1 million cap hit for the 2024 season. As of now, the Cowboys are taking a running back by committee approach, but it remains to be seen who will lead this group. Ezekiel Elliott could once again be the team's lead back, with Rico Dowdle attempting to win the job. Dallas also has Royce Freeman, Deuce Vaughn, Snoop Conner, and Nathaniel Peat all fighting for carries. The Cowboys have made it abundantly clear that they are embracing the committee approach at running back, The Athletic's Saad Youssef detailed in a May 21 article, Cowboys' 5 situations to watch at OTAs, a holdout, new coach, lineups, eyes on QB. The question is, how will they split up the workload? Rico Dowdle showed flashes late last season complimenting Tony Pollard. Was that enough for him to earn starting reps from the outset? Or does Ezekiel Elliott, once the unquestioned starter in Dallas, assume that role even though he's a lesser version of the player who was the face of the position for the Cowboys? What could Michael Thomas provide for the Steelers? There are rumors that the Pittsburgh Steelers are potentially interested in bringing aboard former New Orleans Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas. Though it's been quite a while since Thomas was at his peak. That probably can be attributed to his feet injury history also. We'll take a look at his last 4 seasons, and then approximate what you could potentially expect in 2024 if he signs with the Steelers. Thomas was one of the best receivers in the NFL during the 2018 to 2019 seasons when he was at his peak in the league. He was an absolute monster during those campaigns. He led the NFL in receptions and yards in both 2018 as well as 2019. However, the Saints still had quarterback Drew Brees, a probable future Hall of Fame quarterback, at the helm for them. Thomas finished the 2018 season with 696 more receiving yards than running back Alvin Kamara, who was the team's next leading receiver with 709 yards. He would then go on to have a true breakout season in 2019, passing the 1,700 yards mark. Unfortunately, Thomas has not been able to remain healthy. He suffered a torn deltoid in his ankle to begin the 2020 season and had surgery to repair that in 2021. This medical article points out that it is the ligament responsible for the stability of the ankle. Issues in the foot can be quite bothersome, especially for an athlete at a position that requires regular changes of direction and speeding up or slowing down quickly. He has also gotten surgery on his right foot in 2022 and repeated injuries to the feet of a receiver who was not the fleetest of feet to begin with. If you take his stats and divide the total numbers by 3 for the seasons he was on the field after his breakout year, he's only averaging 352.33 yards per season and 1.33 touchdowns. If that's all the Steelers would be getting from him in 2024, then that would only put him 72.33 yards and 1 touchdown more than former Steelers wide receiver Allen Robinson II put up in 2023. Were the Steelers right to let Robinson walk? They were. He put up an average of 16.47 yards per game based on 17 games. Michael Thomas' average suggests a marginal per-game average improvement of 4.26 yards per game over Robinson. The Steelers could probably get between both Robinson's 280 yards and at best between 375 yards to 400 yards this season from Thomas out of Van Jefferson/Calvin Austin III. Not to mention Thomas is 31 years old, with a history of lower ligament issues. There's not a lot that he's going to do for them given those things that the receivers on their roster don't already give them. There's more name than game with Thomas at this point in his career, especially when you consider he hasn't played a full season in almost 4 years. If he would agree to the veteran minimum, then absolutely bring him to camp and see what he has. But, if he is looking for more than $1,850,000 with very little guaranteed, say $370,000, which the Steelers could easily absorb if they decided to cut him during roster cutdowns, it's not worth it for them. Sure, he'll make a few basketball rebound-type catches, given his size alone, but he's not going to offer more than being a part-time slot receiver. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Michael Thomas? Leave your opinion in the comments.